The haunting of Greystone Woods. The sky hung heavy with dark clouds, and the wind whispered ominously as Clara and her friends approached the edge of Greystone Woods. The dense forest had a reputation in their small town, a cursed area shrouded in mystery and fear. Rumors swirled about strange creatures that roamed the woods and an ancient curse that had claimed the lives of several locals. But this didn't deter Clara. She was determined to debunk the myths and find the truth, despite her friends' apprehensions. "Just think of the stories we can tell afterward. It'll be fun," Clara insisted, her hazel eyes sparkling with excitement. Tommy, her best friend, was less convinced. "More like terrifying," he muttered, glancing at the tree line. "I've heard people scream at night when they go in there. I really don't want to join them." Ava, the quiet one of the group, shivered but nodded in agreement with Tommy. "We could end up as the next victims of whatever is out there," she added, her voice trembling. But Clara, relentless in her adventurous spirit, coaxed them on until they stepped beyond the skeletal trees at the forest's edge. The air felt different, heavier, the once vibrant hum of the outside world faded, swallowed by an eerie silence. Clara took the lead, her flashlight beam slicing through the darkness as they ventured deeper. Old trees towered above them, roots snaking across the forest floor like fingers reaching out to grab them. As they walked, Clara began to recount the tales she read about Greystone Woods. Tales of the shadowy figures that emerged at night, always just out of sight, and the strange occurrences that twisted the minds of all who entered. As she spoke, the creeping sensation of being watched consumed them, but Clara dismissed their fright as mere superstition. "Look, there's a clearing up ahead," Clara called, her enthusiasm shining through her slightly quivering voice. The group quickened their pace, eager to escape the oppressive darkness that surrounded them. When they reached the clearing, the moonlight spilled down, illuminating the ground covered in pale, shimmering mist. "Isn't it beautiful?" Clara said, a smile breaking across her face. But her friends merely stared, their expressions twisting from awe to concern. Suddenly, a faint sound interrupted the stillness. It was a low growl, guttural and menacing, echoing through the trees. "Did you hear that?" Tommy hissed, his face paling. Clara's heart raced as the shadows began to shift unnaturally. "It's probably just a deer," she lied, though they all knew better. The growl resonated again, louder this time, a chill wrapping around them like a vice. Just as Clara opened her mouth to speak, thick, dark mist began to crawl from the tree line, swallowing the clearing in a shroud of darkness. "Run!" Ava screamed, darting toward the opposite side of the clearing. Without thinking, Clara and Tommy followed, panic blurring their thoughts. The ground seemed to tremble beneath their feet, and the growl transformed into a chorus of voices, soft, pleading, and sorrowful. "Help me! Join us!" Clara slammed into a tree, the world spinning around her. She turned to see Tommy and Ava, but they were no longer at her side. The fog felt alive, writhing with each step she took, as if it had a mind of its own. Whispers filled the air, warning her to turn back, urging her to accept the fate of those who had wandered into the cursed depths of Greystone Woods before her. "Tommy, Ava!" she shouted, panic swallowing her voice. Yet all she received were echoing silence and the relentless growl echoing her fear. With her heart hammering in her chest, Clara pressed on, desperate to escape the terror that loomed around her. Suddenly, the mist parted to reveal a ghastly creature, tall and thin, with elongated limbs and eyes that glowed like embers in a dying fire. Its mouth twisted into a cruel smile, impossibly wide, revealing rows of jagged teeth. "Stay with us," it hissed, voice dripping with enticement. Clara stumbled back, every instinct screaming to run. But the creature's gaze held her in place, binding her with an unbreakable force. With a surge of adrenaline, Clara spun around, sprinting blindly into the depths of the woods. The growl transformed into anguished wails, the cries of those lost long ago. She didn't know how far she ran, the branches clawing at her clothes and skin until their cuts burned, but she didn't dare look back. Finally, as dawn broke, Clara burst through the forest's edge, collapsing onto the grass beyond, gasping for breath. Behind her, the woods stood silent, the creature's wails fading into the wind. She looked back one last time, knowing the truth remained hidden within the mysterious shadows that danced amidst the trees. But when she caught her breath and pushed herself upright, she was alone. No sign of Tommy. No sign of Ava. Just the echo of the cursed woods promising their return. And somewhere in that forsaken place, the shadows continued to dart, waiting for the next curious souls to tread too close and awaken the darkness once more.